Sharpening pastel pencils. Do your pencils look more like this than this? If so, I've got all the solutions for you. Doesn't need to be difficult, doesn't need to be costly. Watch the video all the way through. You'll know everything that I know about sharpening your pastel pencils. Okay, now it's not going to be a pretty video. I'm going to have to put the camera through multiple weird angles to be able to show you everything that I want to show you, so you get a full understanding of the sharpener that I use and how to get really sharp points on those pastels. And also I want to go through at the end probably what mistakes you're probably making, what issues you're having and how to fix them. So let's get started. Let's dive right in and I'll show you my sharpeners. Okay, so here are my pencil sharpeners. They're the swordfish icon, and I've used these for, well, pretty much the 8 years I've been doing pastel pencils. I found that they had excellent reviews online, and when I got them, they sharpened the pastels up really nice and sharp straight away. I had no breakages. It was superb, and I thought my problems were over. It lasted a couple of weeks, and then my pencils started breaking again, or I was finding I couldn't sharpen them and they was just giving me tips like this rather than the super sharp ones that I wanted. I bought different sharpeners and I found they either weren't as good straight off as a swordfish, or they just did exactly the same. They worked for a little while, then they stopped working. The reason behind that was not the sharpener, it was the blades going blunt, and I was also expecting too much and too sharp a point from pastels. Now pastels have got a completely different makeup internally than coloured pencils. Okay, so coloured pencils, and I'll get one. Here's a black coloured pencil against a pastel pencil. The coloured pencils have a different joiner, or what's holding the pigment inside of them, than pastel pencils. And all you really need to know is that pastel pencils are very abrasive and they'll blunt those blades super fast, whereas coloured pencils don't, or at least not anywhere near as quickly. So no pastel pencil or no pastel pencil sharpener will last very long at all. Okay, dependent on how many pencils you're sharpening, obviously, but they will all go blunt. No matter what anybody says, absolutely everyone will go blunt at some stage. The beauty with the swordfish sharpeners, I can get replaceable blades. Now in the UK, these are very reasonably priced, and personally I would rather pay for a replacement blade and put that in every now and then than be sharpening with a knife. But the choice is yours. It's dependent on the time. I really don't have spare time to be sharpening with a knife really frequently. So that's all well and good. How do you know when to put a replacement blade in when it needs to be changed? Well, a very good sign is your pencils will start to do this. They'll start to break and go crumbly looking inside, and that usually means that sharpener is starting to chew them up. It's just not sharp enough, the blade, to actually create a nice sharp point anymore. That's one good sign. Another sign is when the pencil is just staying a bit too blunt as well. You just can't get it sharper. Now bear in mind, there's a possibility if the sharpener just stops sharpening, then more than likely you've got a piece of pencil stuck inside of it. So let me show you how to take the sharpener apart and fix those problems and even put a new blade in. But first of all, let me first put some pencils in and give you another tip for knowing when the sharpener has gone blunt. Okay, so I popped a pencil in. Now this sharpener is not completely blunt yet, but I don't know if you'll pick this noise up, but this is what it sounds like when it's going blunt. Okay, it's got a bit of a grindy noise going on there. Now this second sharpener is even more blunt. It probably sounds the same, but I can feel a difference. It feels like it's grating almost when it's going past. Feels a bit kind of gritty. Okay, now when you put a new blade in, which we'll hear in a moment, it sounds completely different. Okay, so how do we pop a new blade in? Let's come around to the back. and there's the handle, that crank handle. All you've got to do is hold the black section and just give it a twist, and out comes the blade. As simple as that. Now if you've got a piece of pastel stuck in the blade, you'll see it down that hole, and what I normally then do is just give a really hard tap on a table surface, or you can get a knife and actually run it across the edge in there. You'll see, once again, in that little hole, you will see the pastel stuck in there. So that's how you get the blade out, how you would get a little piece of pastel stuck in there out as well. Okay, so the blade's out. How would I replace it? Looks quite complicated. What you need is a cloth. The blade is still sharp, okay? Don't go grabbing this blade with your hand. Get a cloth and hold on to the blade tightly, or the black section, and just turn the silver handle. This will unscrew very easily, okay? And you can now pull that black section off, and there's the old blade. Don't throw it out, okay? I'll put that to the side. Here's my new blade, so it's the reverse of that. To put a new blade in, just get that out of there. All I've got to do, put the new blade in, so you've got kind of a cog shape in there. You can see that. You put that in there, and then just screw the handle on the back. Once again, you could hold this with some microfiber just to make sure you're not going to cut yourself. That's how you reattach that. Don't go too firmly. You know when that's firm enough, and that's how you reattach it. Now to put it back in, back around the back end of it, you line up these small kind of little plastic lumps on there, and you'll probably find it won't go in. Okay, now let me show you what's happening, because I get numerous people email me about this and say it just won't go in. What am I doing wrong? Let me show you. Pull the top section out. Okay, let me show you that again. It's tricky with all these camera angles. Just pull that top section out, and if I come around here, let me see if I can actually show you what's happening. Inside there, you see that little circle? What's happening is this silver tip is not lining up with that little circle in there. So if I can manage to possibly show you here, I don't know, let's line it up. You see, that's what we want to happen, that silver tip to come in there, and then you can screw the back and it will lock, and that's it, all done. You just push that section up there and it'll lock in place, and it's all ready to use. I did say it wasn't going to be a pretty video, but I hope this is informative. Let me see if I can show you now. I've just popped a pencil in there, the difference in sound, because you're not going to be able to know the difference in feel. But so let's go back to an old blade. Okay, so I don't know if you could hear that properly. This is the brand new blade. I really need to go in 2 hands, but now it feels, because feel is what you want to go by, it feels like it's really actually taking the wood when it's sharpening and going around, rather than this kind of a funny ratchety noise when the blade is really, you know, worn out. In as much as it's worn out, it can't get sharp nibs or points, whereas the new blade can. Now, it's something to keep in mind when you've got a blunt pencil and a new blade, is that it doesn't need to be turned very much. Now, no doubt the camera is going to wobble on my table, but I'm just going to give it 1, 2, say 2.5 turns, and it's gone quite a bit sharper. So say 3 turns and that would be about it. I never, or almost never ever, sharpen a pencil to that stage. Okay, I almost never do that, because the sharper you're going with your pencils, the more chances of them breaking, and I would never try to get a pastel pencil like that, or they will break all the time. Okay, the makeup, the actual nib is not that hard in a pastel pencil, whereas with a coloured pencil, even as sharp as this, I could use quite a lot of pressure on the paper. With pastel pencils, it would just break. People ask me why they can't get their pastels super sharp. That's the reason. It's just the nature of the pastel. Okay, let's talk about the pencils themselves, because they, or the manufacturing and the way they're made up, definitely influence the sharpness, or how sharp you can get them. When the wood casings are hard, like this Pitt pastel pencil, you can get a better sharp point with the least chance of it breaking. So Pitt pastel pencils are the hardest with the nib and the actual casing itself. That's your best one for sharp pencils. Next in line would be either Carbothello or Derwent. Now, something to keep in mind, with all of these pencils, the lighter the colours, or the more vibrant the colours, the more chance they seem to have once again of breaking. So yellows and reds and vibrant oranges seem to be more brittle, perhaps softer, just in their makeup, okay, than the darker pastels like browns and perhaps dark greens. You can get sharper points with those. So next in line would be Derwent or Carbothello, because once again they've got those fairly hard wood casings and harder pencils. Now things become more troublesome when you're talking about pencils like Gioconda or Caran d'Ache. Gioconda, they've got some wonderful vibrant colours, but remember what I said, when you've got vibrant colours, they definitely seem to be more softer, more fragile, the actual pastel, and more prone to breaking again. So Gioconda and the Caran d'Ache. Now the thing with the Caran d'Ache as well, they're a little bit bigger, so they don't fit in these sharpeners very easily. What about when you get the instances, and this is going to happen at some point, when the pencils just keep blooming, breaking all the time, no matter what you do? First of all, try out a new blade, okay? It's probably that. Next, if you see things like this, I don't know if that'll zoom in well on there, but you can see it's actually a damaged pencil. The actual core of the pencil is damaged, and there's nothing you can do about that other than send it back. You can put a new blade in, it's going to keep breaking. And both these blacks that I bought online, they did this as soon as they came back, and I've sharpened them quite a bit and they're just ready to go in the bin, to be honest, because they're obviously defective. Perhaps it was dropped in transit, or it's defective the way they've been manufactured. So if it's only happening on a couple of pencils, it's quite probable, and if you see them breaking up like that, it's definite that the problem is with the pencil and not the sharpener. So why have I even got two sharpeners? Well, when the blade is not very sharp anymore and I've taken that blade out, I then relegate it and put it down into my second sharpener. When I've got colours that I don't need, or pencils that I don't need particularly sharp, I use the second sharpener because it's got no problems with that. It may not be sharp enough a blade to get me nice pointy tips, but it'll definitely still be sharp enough to use. This one will then be for the pencils that I want for my detail stages, that I want that bit sharpener, okay, bit sharper, or pencils that are more prone to breaking, like perhaps the Gioconda. Okay, that's what I would use this brand new blade for, and I keep that cycle going. When it gets blunt in here, it goes over to the next sharpener, and that helps this one stay sharper longer, and especially when we're videoing, I don't have to be changing the blade as often. Now, of course, there is another way. If you've got the time and the patience, you can just use a blade and start sharpening the wood casing off like that, always having the blade going away from you and using your thumb to push the blade and then lift it gently at the end. Like I said, if you've got the patience and that time to do it, this can be especially effective for the softer pencils like Gioconda and Caran d'Ache. So that's another alternative, and what I would then do once I'd shaved the wood casing down, and you get better at this the more you do it and the quicker you get as well. When I've exposed quite a lot of the pencil, of the actual shaft of the pencil, then I would just use some sandpaper and just rub it on top of the sandpaper like that, turning it to get a nice point. Okay, so that is obviously another way, or you could use a handheld sharpener as well to sharpen your pencils. Once again though, the blade is the critical part. You need to be replacing the blades frequently for them to actually work, or you're just going to get breakages again. Hopefully you found that video of use. I know sharpening pastel pencils can be a bit of a nuisance. These tips should really help you. You will still get occasional breakages, that's inevitable, but it's usually the sharpener blade has actually gone blunt. So please, in the comments below, any questions, I'll try to answer them as best I possibly can, and let me know what you would like to see on the next video. And please don't forget, like and subscribe and tell your art friends about my channel. If you're struggling to draw animals or to improve your art, I can share with you the techniques I've learned over 25 years so you can avoid frustration and trial and error and start to enjoy drawing and creating straight away. Hi, my name is Jason Morgan. I'm a professional artist and I would love to be your guide on your unique art journey. I've fallen in love with pastels and I'm sure you will too. There's really no other medium that has the vibrancy and colour intensity and the ability to put light over dark. That's an absolute game changer for the animal artist. Now on my channel you get immediate access to hundreds of hours of lessons and demonstrations, and you go completely at your own pace. There is absolutely no rushing in my art channel and lessons. Think of it like a video library. You pick the video you like, something that really takes your fancy, and you take as long as you want to complete it. Or alternatively, you can watch my videos, learn the techniques and apply them to the subjects that really inspire you. And you also get new reference photos each month. They're copyright free. You can use them in your art, sell your art, no worries whatsoever. Many of my artists came to me with little to no art ability whatsoever, and they're truly amazed with what they're now creating. You could be doing that as well. Now don't think age is a problem. You're really never too old to start learning and enjoying art, and many of my students are 40, 50, 60, 70, even 80 years of age. Now my channel is about much more than lessons and techniques. You also get access to my secret private Facebook group, and that's full of members that's literally grown up with my channel. They're super supportive and kind. They come from all over the world. So if you've got any questions, you can rest assured there's going to be someone there really quick with a solution to your problems. Now, with my channel, you're not tied into any contract. You can literally come and go as you please. You can go up tiers, you can go down tiers, whatever you want. And there's a tier and a price to suit literally any pocket. Now, I've been doing art lessons for many years, and I really pride myself on trying to create the absolute best lessons and demonstrations I possibly can. I really hope to see you there soon so you can start your art journey, and I can't wait to see what you can achieve.